Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Kleinknecht here, along with head coach Scott Langer again. Coach, take 3 out of 4 points possible on the weekend. Wings are now 6-2-1, and a 4-3 overtime loss to Minot Friday. Had Bendorf scoring 2 goals and Murphy with another. Saturday, the Wings win 3-1, with Kennedy getting rewarded for his hard work and his first of the year, and Strada and Beatty adding goals as well. Vernon saw 72 shots and had 67 saves. Obviously, a good weekend if you can take 3 out of 4, but what were your thoughts overall?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good weekend. It was our play on Friday night was really good for a lot of that game, and we took probably about 7-8 minutes off in the game, and it cost us. And the type of goals we gave up, we don't give up too often, and it was very fortunate for Minot to capitalize on them. But it was a good game, and I like the fact that our guys responded in night 2. They didn't sit back. They came out with a lot of chip on their shoulder. They had a lot of energy, and I thought they played a great game.
Yeah. Well, and I heard some people in the stands too talking about how it was an intense game, both Friday and Saturday, almost a playoff type intensity. Especially teams got a workout on Saturday, particularly in the third. And you mentioned it; they were up for this weekend against Minot. I think maybe some of them, almost even kind of saw it as a measuring stick, a chance to kind of see what, how they stacked up, if you will. And we've talked about this before, where these young men, I mean, emotionally, they can have some ups and downs. They're up for this weekend. They play well. How do you keep them at that level and not let there be a little bit of a letdown?
I mean, it's expected. We talk about the standard we have here, and that type of play is expected, and it's the only way to win. And if you don't come out and play a team like Minot with that kind of intensity, and it's going to be no different when we head into Chippewa Falls. I mean, it's going to be their first home games in a long time. They're going to be excited to play at home. We're going to have the same energy level and play the same type of game. Okay.
Anything in particular that maybe stood out from the weekend that you look to improve upon?
I think just the consistency in our play, and playing that full 60 minutes. I think defensively, in our defensive zone, we can clean some things up, which we'll work on this weekend. But, there was, to me, there was just a lot of positive, more so than looking at all the negative. I mean, our physicality was there, our face-offs were there. We outchanced them both nights, even though, they took it to us at one point there at Friday night, but we still did good things. So, we're just on to the next series, and we'll focus on that.
A lot of positives for sure. Well, and you mentioned it, on to the next series, and of course that is Chippewa Falls, formerly the Coulee Region Chill. New team, out of the division. What do you know about this team, and do you prepare any different, having not seen these guys before?
No, I mean, we'll obviously do our work on tape and just kind of see what their tendencies are right now. But it's a lot of new faces on there where Coach Rooney went and he made a lot of moves. So there's a lot of new faces from that old Coulee Region team. So we're just like I said, we have to just worry about our game at this point. Until we kind of figure it out with what their adjustments are when we get there. But I think that our guys are very capable, and for us, it's big going on the road because we have some young guys here that have to also learn to win in those atmospheres on the road.
Right. Interesting perspective. And Coach, a question from a couple of questions actually from fans this week. One of which was injured reserve and how it works. Are players allowed to practice? Like if they're able anyway, say it's an upper body injury, can they skate with the team, or are there rules set forth by the league that don't allow them to participate in team activities?
No, they just can't play during the time that they're designated on the 21-day IR. As they're rehabbing and they're getting the ability to go back on the ice, they'll come back and join the team, and that's all up to the athletic training staff and Taryn and Bailey. So. But yes, no, there's no rules on that. As soon as they can get them back on the ice and getting ready for the next opportunity to play is always best.
Good to know. Okay. Question that I actually came up with watching some college football on Saturday. Coaching style. We've talked about this before a little bit, of different adjustments and so on that you've had to make. Have you ever had a player that just flat out clashes with your style and that you just can't seem to get along with, or they can't seem to get along with you? Or are you able to make adjustments and I should say maybe even do you, to each individual and what they may need?
Yeah, there's, I would say earlier in my career, there was a lot more of clashing. And then I was able to form a relationship with Steve Jennings, who puts a lot of this team together. And he does a great job of weeding out the guys that don't have the character to meet my personal standards. And usually that's what it comes down to, that if a player just is not willing to go the distance and do what we believe in here, then obviously we're not gonna get along very well. But there's always some players that are they're borderline guys, and if they have the ability to change their ways and to buy in, you never give up on those guys. And
Right.
and of course you're gonna have those guys. Because they come from different organizations that they got away with doing something that they might not be able to do here. So it's, I would say it's a player-to-player situation. But for the most part, I would say that our recruiting staff has done an amazing job putting players in this locker room that we just really don't have that issue anymore. But that can change again. You can always get one guy that just doesn't fit in.
Well, I know that something that you've talked about before too is that negativity kind of feeds and can, well, like they always say, one bad apple spelling a whole bunch. So I'm sure it's something that's kind of an ongoing process too. Another question from fans. They want to know if you're a book or a movie guy.
Well, I would say book. I don't really get into the movies at all. Even when they put them on the bus, I just tend to zone out my own world or read a book. So I get a lot more value out of books.
What was the last book you read?
It would probably be The Positive Dog by John Gordon. I'm a big John Gordon fan.
Well done. All right, well, Coach, Chippewa Falls obviously coming up this weekend. Won't keep you much longer here, so I wanted to thank you for coming on the show. We've got a couple of players coming up, but again, thanks for coming on, and we'll let you get out of here.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we'll be back with the second portion of today's Wings Weekly with a couple of players after these words from our sponsor.
Let's make a taco. No, seriously. Start with a tortilla, soft tortilla. Warm it, kiss it. Don't kiss it. Chicken? How about tequila lime chicken? Now we're cooking. Slice this, peel that, snip those. Salsa? Verde. Cheese? Cotija. Oh, forgot to mention. Guac. That's better. See, anyone can make a taco, but we're not anyone. We're Qdoba, and these are knockout tacos. Qdoba Mexican Eats. Choose flavor.
Welcome back to Wings Weekly. Jay Klein Connect with you, and of course, as mentioned, or as promised, I should say, a couple of players joining me: Brad Belisle of Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada, and Mike Krupinski of Murphy, Texas. Boys, I appreciate you taking some time on your day off to come on the show here and let the fans get to know you guys a little bit. Well, let's start with that. Let's talk a little bit about your family, about your background, how when did you get started playing hockey, all that kind of stuff.
I have a pretty, I guess you'd say, a textbook family. My mom and my dad. My mom's a nurse. My dad's works for the school board in Thunder Bay, and obviously I have a brother who kind of plays in the same division as me, so that's a little unique. Other than that, I got started at a young age playing on the backyard, a little rink on the deck there, and kind of graduated onto outdoor rinks, and then just getting started just through family roots, I guess.
Okay. Mike?
Yeah, mine was a little bit different than Brad's. Growing up in the South, there wasn't a whole lot of hockey. Dad was a huge fan of the Stars when they came down, and then he kind of I was watching it with him, just loved it, got me into it, and then just kind of fell in love with the game from a really young age and just started going from there.
Well, and it's interesting, I've talked with Coach Langer about this a handful of times too, because, the products, the players that come from Scottsdale and, Arizona, Texas, and so on, and it always kind of surprised me. But he told me that the southern states and the Arizona area and stuff right now is exploding when it comes to hockey, and the popularity has been really grown over the last 10 years or so. Was it difficult for you to find, at a young age, a league or a rink, any place where you could actually, play?
No, actually, North Dallas has probably 6, 7, maybe 8 rinks. So, they've got a tier 1 team with Dallas Stars Elite, and I played there for 3 years. So it was never difficult to find a rink or a team to play for in a league.
I imagine, especially in a more metropolitan area, it wouldn't be. But I was thinking, I guess rural, you might have to drive a ways to get to a rink in some areas. But again, the southern states, Florida included, it's kind of exploded over the last decade or so. So that's awesome. I got to go back to you, Brad. You mentioned it. Owen playing for the Brookings Blizzard. It's the pink elephant in the room. I got to ask about what that's like. First of all, is he older or younger than you?
He's 2001, so he's definitely younger.
Okay.
No, but like I said, it's very unique. It's kind of cool for my parents and my family, kind of just to be that close together, especially with how spread out junior hockey is. And, I kind of get an itch every time we play Brookings. I kind of get to play against them, and I know the guys in the room get a kick out of it too. And so it's unique that way.
Well, it is interesting that like you said, you're 2 hours away, essentially 2 hours, 20 minutes away from a sibling rather than, it could be in the East Coast or wherever. So it's interesting in that respect. And I got a kick out of watching you guys because I noticed a couple of times when you both would take the face off, for example, one time you got tossed and he's laughing. I thought there's definitely some back and forth going on there. A lot of jokes and a little ribbing each other and stuff, but there's got to be a little bit of the more heated stuff too. It's a physical game, and his teammates, you're battling with them, and there gets to be some tempers flaring and stuff, and it's just such a unique situation, as you said, because you're mad, you're focused on doing your job, and he's kind of got his band of brothers. Now, how does that work? Do you guys kind of just on the ice, you're not brothers, or how does
Yeah, I'd say that exactly. If there's a chance to hit him and I realize that, I kind of take advantage of it, I guess. And I think, again, like I said, even the guys on the team get a kick out of it too. I know John Bendorf there, he plastered him one time, and it was I had to give him an extra tap on the butt for putting him down. So I like that.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Mike, well, and you kind of answered this already in talking about the rinks a little bit, but there's generally two types of people, or not types of people, but when I meet people from Texas, they're either from big cities or they're from rural areas. Are you more country or city?
Definitely more city. I haven't owned a pair of cowboy boots or a cowboy hat in my entire life. I've been to a few ranches here and there. I got a couple buddies that have a big old cabin in the woods, so I've had a few parties over there, but definitely more city than country.
Gotcha. And not much of an accent either. I always noticed that about Jack Kelly too. Didn't ever have much of an accent. All right, couple of kind of fun questions, or before we get into some more serious stuff. But if you had one superpower, whether it be flying or invisibility or whatever, telekinesis, I don't know, what even is that? But what would your superpower be?
Well, probably a pretty vanilla answer, but I'd probably have to say to fly. That's pretty, you'd utilize that in a lot of ways, so that'd be my answer.
Pretty cool.
I'd probably say invisibility. I think that'd be pretty cool just to walk around and screw with some people and not get noticed.
Stealth mode. Yeah, that would be definitely, especially if you're a bit of a prankster, which actually leads to my next question. Every locker room's got a class clown. Everyone's, there's somebody that is, and oftentimes more than one. Who is it this year?
Well, the name popped in my head right away is Joey Strata. He's always bouncing around the room doing something, so that's got to be for me.
Yeah, it's got to be Joey. He's bouncing around and loves doing everything for hockey and with the boys. So
yeah, Joey being Joey. All right, how about a favorite team? Who's your favorite hockey team?
I got to go Toronto Maple Leafs. I kind of grew up loving them because of my dad and grew up watching them every game. So I'll have to go with them.
Mike, you kind of answered already, so.
Yeah, I got to go with the Stars, hometown team.
All right, how about an all-time favorite player? It's a player that, as the years come and go, you develop, guys that you really like or whatever, but there's one that is just like, man, that guy will always be the best.
For me, it was probably when I was younger. It was either watching the younger, or me being younger, watching the Leafs. Either it was Matt Sundin or a Darcy Tucker kind of player. How they're two different types of players, but they were always entertaining for me.
Okay.
Mine's definitely got to be Mike Modano, just for what he did for just hockey in Dallas. Growing up and watching him and just how skilled he was and just moving around, got to be him.
Awesome. All right, guys, back into the kind of the hockey, the specifics, I guess. And I asked the boys this last week, but I think it's interesting. Obviously you put your best effort forward in every aspect or every component of the game, but there are different components. There is the kill, there is the power play, there is the hitting, the whatever. What is your favorite component or aspect of the hockey game?
I'd have to just say the compete level. I think when a compete level's high in a game, it's more exciting. Everyone's into it, and obviously there is fun parts like the power play and the penalty kill where you get a lift for your team. But I think the overall, just whether the compete is on the power play or on the penalty kill, that just adds a fun aspect to it.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta say the competition, and then being able to be a physical presence out there and just letting the other team knows like you can't do anything and get past us, or someone will come for you.
Somebody will you're going to send a message, huh?
Yeah, just gotta stick up for your teammates a little bit.
Right on. All right, well, you guys move on the road this week over to Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, to take on the Chippewa Falls Steel. A team out of the division, not kind of a mystery, and to everybody since they're kind of new, or they used to be Cooley Region and so on. How do you guys as players prepare for a fairly lengthy roadie and a trip where someplace you haven't been?
Yeah, I think we try and keep it as similar as any other road trip. Obviously, there's different elements like the time, like you said. I think it's just under 8 hours to get there, but I think guys got their routines so made up in their heads now that they kind of try to not change much and just approach it with the same kind of mindset.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I just try and focus on just doing good in practice throughout the week, and then when it comes time for the bus trip, it's just bring a pillow, have headphones, have some music, and just try and fall asleep. So be ready for the games.
There you go. Those essentials for bus travel. Let's see. Well, I won't keep you guys much longer. I know, like I said, a day off today after a really intense battle against Minot. But before I do I'll send you along or let you go, I wanted to talk a little bit about that this last weekend against Minot. What was it like in the locker room knowing that Minot was coming to town? And granted, neither of you were on this team last year, but in a very intense playoff battle last spring, and a team that on paper was doing a lot of good things as far as scoring goals and not allowing a lot of goals and so on. Was there a little bit of an added buzz in the locker room as you prepared for them during the week?
Yeah, obviously you got that memo from the kind of returning guys that there was a sour taste in their mouth from the year before. And, we prepared for them like we would prepare for any other team. We had a lot of scouting notes on them, so we knew what was coming and we knew how to play them. And I think that gave us the advantage going into the weekend, being able to take 3 of the 4 points there.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's another thing, it's kind of tough about this Chippewa team too, is that there aren't going to be a whole lot of scouting notes and stuff. How about you, Mike? What do you think?
Yeah, there was definitely a just bitter remembrance of this Minot team from last year. So all the vets knew it's is go time for this weekend. We gotta win both games or try and do our best. And then so it's a hard battle. Saturday's game had a little more edge to it, which was fun to see. So we were doing our best.
Absolutely. Well, like I was talking to Coach about prior to you guys joining them, but 3 out of 4 points, so congratulations. That's a pretty solid weekend. This week, folks, Friday, October 19th, the Wings at Chippewa Falls, and Saturday, October 20th, again, of course, at Chippewa Falls. Puck drop both nights at 7:10 Central. Watch the games at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Aberdeen or by logging on to hockeytv.com. Listen to 94.1 The Rock and hubcityradio.com or the Rock app. Next Wings home game, Saturday, October 27th versus Bismarck Bobcats. It's a Rooster Rush night. Kids Halloween candy toss and skate with the Wings after the game. $10 general admission tickets are on sale now at any of the 4 Sea Express locations in Aberdeen with additional purchase. Season tickets are still available. Call Aaron at 605-380-5852 for more information. And as always, for the latest news and information, visit aberdeenwings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and on Instagram. Well, again, I appreciate you guys coming on, especially on a day off. Brad Belisle and Mike Krupinski, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us. Loved it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. All right, that'll pretty much wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.